For today's presentation, we're going to analyze a few tools that are used to measure competitiveness within a certain industry. In this case, the medical device industry. Um, we chose Medtronic in order to put into motion said tools because it's one of the biggest companies within the medical and medtech device industry. It's the top player, to put it that way. Um, Medtronic reported $31 billion of revenue for the year 2022. Medtronic was also the leading medical device company for revenues in 2021. Its main competitors are Abbott Laboratories and Johnson& Johnson.
Now we're going to talk about Porter's five forces. First, I would like to talk about its importance. It is used to analyze the competitive environment of an industry and the company. In this case, the industry is the medical devices in Mexico and the company is Medtronic. Starting with the potential of new entrants into the industry, they have very low power. To be able to compete in Mexican market, they have to achieve several laws. For example, the law 241 SSA1 2021. Continuing with the bargaining power of suppliers in the industry, there are several suppliers, but due to patents, in certain cases they can raise their price as they are unique with that technology. This is the same case of bargaining power of customer. All depends on the type of medical devices. If they are the unique or there are a few with that technology because of the patent. And the threat of new substitute products. Uh, Really, there is no risk. They have very low power. Medical devices are developed for specific needs. Finally, with the rivalry between competitors, Medtronic is an international company. Uh, Medtronic has an important participation in the global market, unless there are several competitors like General Electric Healthcare, Siemens AG, or Johnson& and Johnson. You can see in the screen the revenue in 2021 and in 2022.
The Diamond Project. Within the condition of the factors, we can see that Mexico is the eighth country in global manufacturing and the first to export to the United States, which is why, in the condition of demand, it is expected that by 2025, $6,012.7 billion will be collected. Signs that in the company there are 117,000 specialized workers and the industry grows 8.5% annually, and Mexico has strong exports to Europe and America, generating demand for medical technologies. However, there are industries that support medical devices, which are pharmaceuticals, research institutions, regulatory agencies, and the dispensable industries. Taking this into account, the Mexican industry in its strategy and structures maintains the best market in Mexico City and there are 100 companies dedicated to this, generating more than 4,000 jobs in each one.
One of the tools used to measure competitiveness within an industry is the competitive profile matrix. In order to put together a competitive profile matrix, one must first compare the the chosen company, in this case Medtronic, to two similar or three competitors. In this case, we chose Johnson and Johnson as well as Abbott Laboratories. We have to choose key success factors within the industry and assign them a respective weight given the importance that we assign to them. So the weight the weight will be higher to the weight to given to a key success factor will be higher or lower depending on the importance and how crucial it is to be successful within an industry. Then we assign a score to each of these success factors for each of the companies, and that's how we put together a competitive profile matrix. In our case, we chose as key success factors research and development expenses, brand recognition, market share, and revenues. So for the year 2023, Medtronic, Medtronic reported $2.6 billion of research and development expenses, so which is definitely a hefty sum. But compared to Abbott Laboratories and Johnson's and Johnson's, it's not that much. For example, Johnson and Johnson reported $14.6 billion of research and development expenses. Now, do keep in mind that Johnson and Johnson is not limited to medical devices, as it is also a pharmaceutical company. Abbott Laboratories reported $2.8 billion of research and development expenses for the same year. For brand recognition, Medtronic is a well-known player within the medical device industry, as is Johnson and Johnson. Johnson and Johnson does benefit from the fact that it's also a pharmaceutical company, and it's well known by a lot of people all over the world. Abbott Laboratory is very well known as well for its cardiovascular devices. Medtronic is known for its diabetes division. When it comes to market share, Medtronic Medtronic is owns 5.8% of the market share for the year 2022. Abbott Laboratories owns 5.5% of the market share, and Johnson & Johnson owns 5% of the market share. That's within the United States. That's only in the United States. Now for revenues, Medtronic reported revenues of $31 billion in 2023. Johnson & Johnson reported total sales of amounting up to $94 billion for the year 2022. Once again, keep in mind Johnson & Johnson is also a pharmaceutical company and its sales are not limited to medical devices. Abbott Laboratories reported the most, subjectively speaking, if we were to limit it to medical devices. Abbott Laboratories reported $43.65 billion of revenues for the year 2022. So these are the key success factors and the competitive profile matrix. Now, we do see some areas that Medtronic does excel in, like the market share and brand recognition, but some areas where it could improve, like research and development and revenues, perhaps by implementing a different advertising strategy.
Now we'll talk a little about the markets to which the distribution of medical devices could be expanded, taking into account the trade agreements that Mexico, United States, and Canada have. For this, we analyze each of the aforementioned countries using the Wickel method, taking into account the political, economical, social, technological, and environmental and legal factors. It is important to mention that to analyze each of these factors, we use four indicators to analyze it and to analyze the performance of each country in their respective factor. We will begin by talking about the political factor, for which we use the following indicators: Government Effectiveness Index, Government Development Index, Political Stability, and Fragile States Index. And as you can see, the United States is the country that has the best rating, which means that in general, the political stability of the United States and the trust that the people have in the government is quite good. Now we go to the next factor, which is the economic one, in which we use the following indicators: financial sector assets, amount of research, GDP growth, and external debt. And as we can see in the table, the final result, which is highlighted with orange, Canada is the country that is best actually economically, which means that they make good use of their resources and have good amounts of reserves for any type of disaster. And the next factor is the social factor, for which we use the following indicators: availability of public information, health spending per capita, life expectancy, and educational quality. And as we can see in the table, the country that has the best result is United States, which means that society has a good quality of life due to the support of the government and the good opportunities that exist in the United States. And the next factor is the technological factor, in which we use the following indicators: high technology exports, innovation and development expenses, invention coefficient, and scientific and technical articles. And as we can see, the country that is better in this factor is the United States, since it has a lot of innovation and a lot of high tech exports. And the other factor that I will talk about is the environmental factor, for which we use the following indicators: air pollution, CO2 emissions, renewable water resources, and protected natural areas. And in general, the country that is better environmentally talking about is Canada, since they take care of their natural areas and have just little pollution. And finally, the last factor that we analyze is the legal factor, in which we use the following indicators: computer hacking, compliance with contracts, trust in the police, and protection of human rights. And as you can see, the country that is better in this factor is Canada. To close, we can observe that the country that is better in general is the United States, since it is the one that has the best rating of the three countries. So it can be concluded that the United States and Canada are a very good option to expand the medical devices market.
Now, with the Competitiveness International Index, we can see that Mexico presents a mixed picture for this industry. In terms of the legal framework, it scores low with 30, indicating challenges and regulations that the company will have to face. Additionally, the lack of innovation and development in the medical industry, with a score of 33, may limit growth opportunities. However, Mexico shows a society with a score of 49, suggesting demand and need in the healthcare sector. Furthermore, the political and governmental environment, with the scores of 46 and 49, can provide stability and support to the medical industry. In terms of the economy, Mexico scores 54, indicating moderate level of economic development. This can be favorable for selling medical products, as there is a potential market and purchasing power. In summary, although Mexico presents challenges in terms of legal and innovation aspects, the demand and need in the healthcare sector, along with a stable political and economic environment, can make it suitable for a company to sell medical products in the country. However, it is recommended to conduct a more delayed analysis and consider additional factors before making a final decision. Now, talking about the United States, this country presents a highly favorable environment for selling medical products. With a score of 76 in the law category, it indicates a well-established and supportive regulatory system. This provides a stable and predictable legal framework for the company's operations. In terms of the environment category, the score of 53 suggests that there may be certain environmental factors to consider, which could impact the sale of medical products. However, the score of 75 in the society category indicates a strong demand and need for healthcare products, making it a promising market. The United States also scores high in the political and government categories, with the scores of 76 and 64. This reflects stability and support from the government, which can positively influence the medical industry. With a score of 62 in both the factors and innovation categories, the United States demonstrates a dynamic and technologically advanced healthcare industry. This indicates a favorable environment for introducing innovative medical products and staying competitive in the market. In terms of the economy, the United States
scored 63, suggesting a high level of economic development and a strong market for medical products. This provides a solid foundation for business growth and profitability. In summary, the United States is highly suitable as a market for a company selling medical products. The well-established legal framework, a strong demand from society, a stable political and governmental environment, advanced healthcare industry, and robust economic make it an attractive market. However, it is important for the company to consider specific market dynamics, competition, and regulatory requirements before making a final decision. Now, talking about the United States, this country presents a highly favorable environment for selling medical products. With a score of 76 in the law category, it indicates a well-established and supportive regulatory system. This provides a stable and predictable legal framework for the company's operations. In terms of the environment category, the score of 53 suggests that there may be certain environmental factors to consider, which could impact the sale of medical products. However, the score of 75 in the society category indicates a strong demand and need for healthcare products, making it a promising market. The United States also scores high in the political and government categories, with scores of 76 and 64. This reflects stability and support from the government, which can positively influence the medical industry. With a score of 62 in both the factors and innovation categories, the United States demonstrates a dynamic and technologically advanced healthcare industry. This indicates a favorable environment for introducing innovative medical products and staying competitive in the market. In terms of the economy, the United States scores 63, suggesting a high level of economic development and a strong market for medical products. This provides a solid foundation for business growth and profitability. In summary, the United States is highly suitable as a market for a company selling medical products. The well-established legal framework, a strong demand from society, a stable political and governmental environment, advanced healthcare industry, and robust economic make it an attractive market. However, it is important for the company to consider specific market dynamics, competition, and regulatory requirements before making a final decision.
The Mexican medical device industry boasts several competitive advantages that distinguish it on the global stage. First, Mexico has a strategic geographic location, sitting next to one of the largest markets in the world, the United States. This proximity ensures shorter shipping times and reduced transportation costs. Additionally, Mexico has a skilled and abundant labor force that has specialized in medical device manufacturing over the years. This human capital provides a unique blend of quality workmanship and cost effectiveness for their effectiveness. Furthermore, Mexico's rich network of free trade agreements spanning multiple continents facilitate easier access to numerous markets, making the country an ideal export hub. Lastly, the continual investment in research, development, and innovation within the industry has solidified its position as a key player in the medical device arena. Next question. Yes, the Mexican medical device industry can be considered internationally competitive. When we think about international competitiveness, we are talking about an industry's ability to produce and sell goods in the global market while maintaining or expanding its share against competitors. Given the aforementioned advantage, the Mexican medical device industry has undo- undoubtedly positioned itself as a competitive force on the international stage. Its consistent growth and recognition as a top exporter in the sector only further attest to this fact. From what we observe, while the United States remains a dominant market due to its sheer size in proximity, there are other promising markets to consider. European countries, with their aging populations and advanced healthcare systems, present considerable opportunities. Similarly, countries in Asia, particularly in regions experiencing rapid economic growth like Southeast Asia, are witnessing a surge in healthcare demand and could be lucrative targets. Additionally, Latin America, with its culture and linguistic ties to Mexico, can offer a more familiar terrain for expansion while still presenting substantial growth potential. Mexico has a broad spectrum of expertise in the medical device sector, from disposables to high tech equipment. However, given the global trends, we personally feel that Mexico could further capitalize on areas such as wearable medical devices, remote patient monitoring tools, and devices related to telemedicine. These areas are witnessing exponential growth, especially in the aftermath of the COVID 19 pandemic, as the world realizes the significance of remote healthcare solutions. By concentrating on these niches and harnessing its strengths, Mexico can further solidify its position as a global leader in medical device exports.